There's knowledge, there's principles which Krishna is revealing in Bhagavad Gita. Then the perfection of human life can be achieved. Hare Krishna. So we begin with the invocation prayers and then we will start. Das Raghunath Prabhu, very few have joined, just 3 of them. The remaining are my students from India. All the video on.
Yeah, so I think we can start. Maybe they will join.
Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyat Deshatarine Hare Krishna. So we begin our journey of knowledge and wisdom to dispel the ignorance and darkness which has captured our inner region of the heart for lifetimes. And this is possible because one great saintly person, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, he traveled, he travels the entire world to spread the message of Bhagavad Gita. So Srila Prabhupada's greatest contribution is his gifts of the Vedic scriptures. The ultimate message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada has delivered in such a way that a common man can comprehend it, accept it, apply it, and attain the best benefit of it. So we will begin from today the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And the first chapter speaks about the armies which are arrayed in the battlefield. Actually, the first chapter has 2 aspects. It is the observing the armies on the battlefield and Arjuna's dissension. That Arjuna is completely discouraged to fight. And what are the learnings? What are the sutras, the principles that we receive from this lesson that we will discuss to some extent today? So as you know, Bhagavad Gita is presented on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. and it is a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. There is a free flow of exchange between the two personalities, and later the author Vyasadeva has classified it into 18 chapters, and it has 700 verses. And so far in the human history, in the human race, there is no other scripture which can be compared to the knowledge and wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, which is accepted by most eminent personalities, scholars, philosophers, scientists, everyone. And why it is so prominent? Because it gives us definitive guidance. And in situations of confusion and bewilderment, if we take guidance from Bhagavad Gita, then we can overcome all our struggles in life. And Lord Shankaracharya, one of Lord's greatest devotees, he compares Bhagavad Gita as the flow of nectar. Bhagavad Gita kinchid adhita, Ganga jal lab kanika pita. So, if one reads even a small section of Bhagavad Gita kinchid adhita, and Ganga jal lab kanika pita, and even if he sips or intakes even a drop of Ganga jal, what is the great benefit? Bhagavad Gita is compared to having dialogue with Krishna, because Bhagavad Gita is the dialogue of Lord Shri Krishna. So whoever is hearing and whoever is reading Bhagavad Gita, he comes to the platform of having dialogue with Krishna. Sakradiyena murari samarcha, kriyete yena yamena charcha. So then he will not have a dialogue with Yamraj. Then Yamraj will not have any provision to have any dialogue with him. But you see, Bhagavad Gita is even far, far more beneficial than Ganga Jal. Why so? Because Ganga Jal is so potent because it comes from the lotus feet of the Lord. When Lord Vamandev, he expanded his form. So his toe, when he raised his leg, his toe pierced the upper planets. And from that hole which was made by the toe of Vamandev, Ganga Devi flew down. It is the Charnamrit of Lord Vamandev. That was in the Satyuga. But in Dwapar, Ganga is flowing from the lotus mouth of Lord Shri Krishna. So if one drinks Ganga Jal, where he can reach highest to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. That is why Gangaji has one more name. She is called Vishnupadi. You know, she is known as Vishnupadi because she washes the lotus feet of the Lord. So if you drink Ganga Jal, even at the last time of your departure, where you can reach to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. But if you study Bhagavad Gita, which is emanating from the lotus mouth of the Lord Krishna, you can reach Krishna's smiling face. So that is the great benefit of Bhagavad Gita. And so we begin, and so many prominent personalities, our father of nation, he always looked into Bhagavad Gita to get guidance and determination to set India free from the British era. He's one of the greatest scientists, and even our Prime Minister Modi. So in nutshell, if one studies this one scripture alone, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam, there is only one book to be studied, that is Bhagavad Gita, Devaki Putra Geetam. And if there is one person to be worshipped, that is Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. And if one mantra to be chanted, that is the Eko Mantras Tas Namani Yani, the Hare Krishna mantra. And all action, amongst all the action, which one action is to be performed is that Dev, that is Devaki Putra Seva. That is the devotional service. So why we need Bhagavad Gita? One may ask, where is the need to study Bhagavad Gita? We have so much course, especially those who are in MBBS. They have so many academic books, so much curriculum to cover. But there is a pressing need to study Bhagavad Gita. So academic knowledge gives us only the knowledge pertaining to our body and mind, which is material. But Bhagavad Gita gives us the knowledge, which is the spiritual knowledge, which is pertaining to our eternal self, which is soul. So from this academic knowledge, we can have the skill set to earn and to maintain our body. But with the spiritual knowledge, what we can do is we can transform our mind. Bhagavad Gita teaches us the importance of character, and academic knowledge restricts us only to core competence. So the academic knowledge enables us how to make money, but Bhagavad Gita equips us how to utilize that money. And it also makes us become aware as to what are the laws of nature. Today's world, we see so much of imbalance in nature. There is so much of upheaval about the environmental hazards. Why? Because there is an imbalance. People have no clue how to have synthesis with nature. So one of the subjects of Bhagavad Gita is Prakriti. Prakriti means the material nature. So how to have complete harmony with material nature and how the material nature acts or reacts. So that knowledge no institute can give. So we look at Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna accepts very profound. In Bhagavad Gita, we see that Krishna accepts the position of becoming a charioteer, becoming a Sarathi. The Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes Sarathi. Why? So that he could speak Bhagavad Gita. So we see the extraordinary attitude of the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself to give benefit to the human race for future generation. He accepts the position of becoming a charioteer. And these are the verses, the bifurcation of the 700 verses. Krishna speaks 574 verses, Arjuna 84, Sanjay 41, and Dhritarashtra only 1. Today we will discuss on the first verse of Dhritarashtra. Why Dhritarashtra begins with Bhagavad Gita. There are 3 levels of dialogue in Bhagavad Gita. The outermost dialogue is the dialogue between Dhritarashtra and Sanjay. And this dialogue happens in Hastinapur. And where the dialogue begins with the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, where Dhritarashtra will ask the question, which will reveal his doubt. And that question which he asks is answered in the end of Bhagavad Gita. That is the last verse of Bhagavad Gita, 18.78. So Dhritarashtra's understanding of Bhagavad Gita, it is only one verse, and that is 18.78. Actually, he does not enter into the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. There is no proper access or understanding of Bhagavad Gita to Dhritarashtra, although he is hearing. Then there is a second level of internal dialogue, which takes place between Krishna and Arjuna. And where the dialogue begins from the second chapter, 7th verse, where Arjuna says that he is willing to accept Krishna as his spiritual master. And this dialogue continues to the 18th chapter, 73rd verse, where he says, Nashta moha smriti labdhva, tat prasadat maya achyuta. And there is another dialogue, which is an eternal dialogue of Bhagavad Gita. That is the dialogue between all living entity and Krishna. Not all living entities, but those who are really sincere seekers of spirituality. Eternal dialogue between Atma and Parma, which never stops or which never ends. So from Bhagavad Gita, we can receive as much knowledge, as much enlightenment as it is possible to receive energy from sun. There is no limit, there is no restriction. It depends on the capacity of the receptacle and how much he is inclined to receive. So Bhagavad Gita is classified into 18 chapters. First 6 chapters emphasize on the performance of action, which is karma or duty. Middle 6 chapter emphasize on performing devotion, which is bhakti. And the final 6 chapter emphasize on knowledge, which is jnana, which is required for detachment. So coming to the first chapter has, as I said, 2 main sections. The first section speaks about the armies on the battlefield. The first 27 verses speaks about the observing the armies on the battlefield. And that can be further classified into 3 sections. The first 12 verses where Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, they are addressing. And then from 12th till 20th, all auspicious Krishna and the signs of victory for the Pandavas. And from 21 to 27, Krishna being the lover of his devotees, the Bhavakt Vatsala. And finally, from verse 28 to 46 is Arjuna's Vishada Yoga. Arjuna's rejection to fight, or he gives 4 reasons or 5 reasons not to fight. This is the overview of the first chapter. So we'll recite this verse, very, very important verse, the first verse, and mainly our discussion today will be on this verse. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsava mamaka pandavasteva kimakurvat Sanjaya. So Dhritarashtra speaks only this one solitary verse in the entire Bhagavad Gita. After that, he does not speak. He tries to hear, but he cannot even hear. Of course, he cannot see. He is blind. But we see he is not able to hear, although he is being spoken Bhagavad Gita one-to-one by his secretary Sanjay. So what is the inquiry or the question or the doubt which with the Bhagavad Gita begins? So Dhritarashtra is inquiring that in Dharma Kshetra. So actually Bhagavad Gita starts, the first word of Bhagavad Gita is Dharma. And where this battle is being fought is Kurukshetra. And it is the place of religious principles, religious purity. So he wants to know Samveta Yuyusava. Yuyusava means the spirit to fight, and Samveta means to assemble. Who have assembled with the spirit to fight? Mamaka, my sons, and Pandava, the son of Pandavas. And with the spirit to fight, they have assembled. So Kima Kurvat Sanjaya, what did they do? Why Dhritarashtra has been given to open this very sacred book of knowledge with this verse? Because this verse speaks the inner position of Dhritarashtra, his heart, which is very doubtful. Dhrita Rashtraha. Rashtra means kingdom or land. And Dhrita means to hold. So Dhritarashtra literally means that one who wants to always hold the kingdom or land. So Dhritarashtra was always having this desire that he remains the king. In any situation, he does not want to give up this position. So he is having a doubt that is my position safe and secure, or is it that it is being compromised, that my sons, along with the sons of the Pandu, because they are in the place of Dharma Kshetra, the place impact, because it is Dharma Kshetra, the pious place have done an impact to my impious sons that they would have not compromised and given my kingdom to the Pandavas. Without fighting, they would have agreed to give the kingdom to the Pandavas. So this is his great doubt. With this great doubt, he is asking or he is beginning this question of Bhagavad Gita. Although Dhritarashtra is blind, but Dhritarashtra is very knowledgeable. But his knowledge is covered by his attachment. What is his attachment? His attachment is that he wants to remain the king. He wants to enjoy the opulence that he has. He does not want to give it up. And because of his attachment to the kingdom, his intelligence is also covered. His vision is covered, his intelligence is also covered. So what is his duty or dharma? The duty and the dharma of the king is to always protect the virtuous people, the righteous people. He is not able to do that. So he is having this fear. Not only he is having doubt, he is having this very acute fear in his heart that did my son, they did not go and get influenced by the good place. Like sometimes if the students come to ISKCON, so their parents become very, doubtful or fearful that they may not become sadhu. Just by being in that place, the influence will be there. The devotees will influence them and make them sadhu. It is not so. You see, these are some of my students who are having their videos on. They are all into household life. They are very exemplary in both in the social life and also in the spiritual life. So, but the fear is there because he is not following his duty, he is not following his dharma. So, one lesson that we learn, the first lesson, the life lesson that we learn, the person who does not perform his dharma or his duty in his life, he will always be fearful. He will always be doubtful. He will always be in bewilderment. Like we see the position of Dhritarashtra. Why? Because he is not following dharma. According to the dharma, he should hand over the kingdom to the Pandavas. But he refuses to do so. Why? Because he feels his life success is that if he remains the king. Somehow or the other, if he maintains his position to remain the king, that is the success of life. That is his success formula, or that is his success mantra. And to maintain this success mantra, it is actually Dhritarashtra who got all his 100 sons killed. Because beforehand, Sanjay gave him a declaration that the victory will be for the Pandavas. What is the last verse? 18.78. Who remembers? Who will recite? You recite, Ramya? Jatra Partha Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuti Dhuva Nitir Matir Mama. So he could hear before even an arrow was shot, before even one son was killed, that wherever the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is there will be victory, there will be morality, there will be unparalleled strength. But still, he was feeling that if I remain the king, this is successful. And in turn, what happened? He lost all his sons. And of course, he lost the kingdom also. Go forward. So, if we do not observe our duties perfectly or correctly, then the element of fear in our heart, the insecurity, the biggest challenge for everyone, uh, insecurity of the heart. They always doubt. The element of doubt is there. Fear is there. And the fear is there because one is not performing his duty. He was fearful due to his attachment to his sons and fearful because of the position that he was having. And he also knew the principle that dharma evo hato anti dharma rakshati rakshita. So one who protects dharma, dharma will protect him. And one who does not protect the dharma, then the dharma will certainly slay him. But what Dhritarashtra says, he says, Janati dharma na chame pravritti, janati adharma chaname nivritti. He says that I know what is dharma, what is my duty. But due to my material attachments, I cannot observe it. And he also says, Janati adharma na chame nivritti. But I also know what is adharma, what I should not be doing. But because of my attachment, I cannot give it up. Why? Because his perception, his conception of the success is that somehow if he remains the king, he will be successful. So he is not able to discriminate between what is rightful action and what is sinful action. And he continues. And then the mentality. And then we see Duryodhana. The second character, if you see, is Duryodhana. So we saw the character of Dhritarashtra. What is the character of Duryodhana? He is thinking, somehow if I win the war, if I kill the Pandavas, then there is successful. And in his pursuit to success, what he does, how he behaves with his grandfather Bhishma and Drona. In particularly in this section of Bhagavad Gita, his diplomacy with Drona is highlighted. He goes to Dronacharya, his teacher, and he says that, my dear teacher, please see that because of your concession, today we are faced with this formidable opposition of the Pandavas. And they have their commander-in-chief, who is your student, Drishtadumna. So in the past, it is because of your wrong decision that we are facing this situation. So in a way, he is trying to tell his teacher the fault of the teacher. He is not accepting his own fault. His fault of how he cheated with the Pandavas. And then he comes even to his grandfather Bhishma and tells grandfather Bhishma that you please fight with all your ability and might. Do not show any affection or any concession for the Pandavas. Because if you do not fight with your full ability, then we will lose this war. And you will be the reason for our loss. So what he does, he performs diplomacy, deceit. And he misrepresents the situation. Why? Because his success formula is he has nothing to do with fair or unfair means. He wants to win. He is always thinking that if I kill the Pandavas, if I win, then I can remain the king. He's carrying the same mentality of Dhritarashtra, that somehow the kingdom should remain to me. So that will be our great success. So this is another life lesson that we learn from Duryodhana, that if we misrepresent or if we try to manipulate the situations, then we will suffer. He tried to manipulate to his best, but ultimately all his manipulations were reduced to dust. Especially to teachers. Grandfather Bhishma and Drona was his teacher. They were elders. And he was manipulating them. He was not accepting that it is because of his own fault that the situation has arisen to war. He did not agree to give even 5 villages to the Pandavas. But now he is blaming the situation has arisen because of leniency of Drona and Bhishma. And then the conch shells, I'm just giving the overview. The conch shells are blown when this diplomacy is being handled by Duryodhana. So Bhishma Dev blows his conch shell, his Shankhanad. And then the Kauravas also blow their conch shells. And in reply, the Pandavas blow their conch shell. And when the Pandavas blow the conch shell, it is very nicely explained that the conch shell which is blown by Krishna, Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadatta Dhananjaya. And Pandro Dadmo Vakrodara. Bhima blows his conch shell, Yudhishthir blows his conch shell, and Nakul and Sahadev also blow their conch shell. The vibration, the sound is so tumultuous that the fear in the heart of Duryodhana and his party becomes even more deeper. They become completely disheartened just by hearing the conch shells. Why? Because with the conch shell of the Pandavas, there is the sign of victories, that the Pandavas will win and the Kauravas will be defeated in this war. So when the conch shells are being blown, and all these symbols of victory, there are so many symbols of victory for the Pandavas, which is there. Arjuna asked Krishna to place his chariot between the two parties, to the two armies. Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapya Meyachu. This is the 21st verse. You can play moderator. Dayashil, you have the laptop with you?
No, Prabhuji, I have only mobile today.
Oh, I see. Okay, never mind. So this verse is a very, very extraordinary verse, in which verse, the 21st verse of this chapter, Arjuna is in a way ordering Krishna, because Krishna has become his charioteer, that you please place my chariot in between the midst of the two armies. Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapya Meyachu. And he addresses Krishna as Achyuta. So this word is very, very significant. Achyut. Achyut means that who does not fail or who does not fall. So Krishna, even though he is the supreme personality of Godhead, he accepts the position of a charioteer, a Sarthi. And he never fails to fulfill his service obligation to his master, which is Krishna, or to his devotees. Prabhupada says that one who never fails in his affections is Achyuta. There are two words. Achyuta means one who never fails or falls, and Vichyuta is one who fails. And so Krishna, as a very obedient subordinate, he took his chariot in between the armies. And you see the bonding. This is a very beautiful part of the first chapter, that Krishna and Arjuna, although they have taken the position of one as a superior, Arjuna has taken the position of a superior and Krishna has taken the position of a junior, of a subservient. Krishna perfectly plays the part of a junior. So how Arjuna was giving order? It was not that he was calling out, he was speaking and Krishna was hearing. Arjuna was using his feet to tap his shoulders. Arjuna would keep both his feet on both the shoulders of Krishna. And if he wants that the chariot to be taken left, so what he would do, he would tap Krishna's left shoulder with his left leg. And if he was to take the chariot right, he would tap the right foot on his right shoulder. And if it was to be taken straight, he would tap both the shoulders. And if it was to be stopped, he would tap in the middle of these shoulders. And Krishna perfectly understood all these orders of Arjuna and he complied. So he is Achyut. He never fails in his affection with his devotee. And he can go to any extent to serve his devotee. Krishna is not image conscious. What people will say. What is the greatest disease? Why we are so much in artificial mode? Because what people will think about us. सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? That is not applicable to Krishna. So Arjuna places the chariot in between the armies, and then the scene completely turns and transforms. So Arjuna asked Lord Krishna to draw up his chariots in the midst of both the armies. And Arjuna is mentioned here as Budakesh. Budaka means sleep. Arjuna was so capable that he could conquer over sleep. So Krishna took the chariot very strategically, not in the midst of the armies, but in front of where Bhishma and Drona were, where Drona and Bhishma could be seen very prominently. And when Arjuna sees that he has to fight with whom? His grandfather Bhishma and his most revered teacher Drona, then Arjuna begins to transform. He shows signs of nervousness. So this is where Arjuna's Vishad Yoga begins. Arjuna says that he does not want to fight. He gives various reasons. First reason, he says that if I fight, I will have to kill. So I don't want to kill. So I will not fight. So he shows compassion. He shows compassion for the persons, those who are on the enemy side. So, and then he says that if I fight and if I kill, then I cannot enjoy. This is his success formula. Very beautiful verse. I will recite that verse. Rather, I will show that verse. He gives another reason that why he will not fight this war. He says, Kim nu rajena govinda, kim bhogera jivatena va, ye shamarthe kanchitam no, rajyam bhoga sukhani cha. So he says, O Govinda, O Krishna, of what avail to us our kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? Then he says that, O maintainer of all the living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? So he does not see any success in fighting and winning, because his understanding is that even if he fights and he wins, he cannot enjoy. His mantra for success is that not to speak of this kingdom, even if I get the kingdom of the three worlds, the heavenly planet also, then also I am not interested, because it is not in my success formula. So today we will discuss this one point, that Bhagavad Gita gives us the comprehension of understanding of defining what is success. What actually is success? When we are 3-year-old, then what is the formula of defining success? The parents expect that when we go out, we do not urinate. The baby learns this etiquette, that whenever he has to pass urine, he tells the mother and father, he does not urinate. So they feel it is success, that my child is growing up. It is success. And when he becomes 7-year-old, then what is this success? That he can come back alone from school. Today, if you become parent, this is a big task to take the son and daughter to the school and bring back. So if you become 7-year, the success is that he can come back alone. He does not need someone. And when he becomes 12 or 13 or 15, what is the success? If he has good friends. So he can live life and enjoy life. Yes or no? If you don't have good friends, then youth is useless. At least the teens. And when he becomes 18 years old, what is the success? That if you may get an iPhone. This is the biggest success sutra. Or you get driving license. So you can ride a bike or a car, or you can enjoy. If you become 21, the success is if you get a degree. If you get a medical degree, maybe not at 21 or 22, or an IIT degree, or a CA degree, or now the software techie degree. And if you become 25, the success formula is that if you have a good paying job. And when you become 30, what is the success? That you have a good family, a good wife, a caring wife, or a husband. And when you become 35, you have obedient children. When you become 40, you have some good savings. When you become 50, then the children, their career is getting settled. If you become 60 or 65, then you retire. And after retiring, what you want? You want to become a specialist or a consultant. Yesterday, I came to know one of my known, very, very generous doctor, Dr. Anurag Srivastava. He was the head of cancer and surgery in AIMS. He retired many years back, but he came to temple yesterday. Now he's active, still active. He is working as a consultant in some hospital. So this is success. That after retirement, you get a even higher position. You become a consultant or a specialist. And at 70, then what is the success? If you still have some friends with whom you can share your sorrows and your heart. 80, if you can drive alone and come back home. And at 90, if you do not urinate in your pants. So what is success? Where is success? So we must know before we come to this age where we lose all our years to know actually what is success. We will discuss this a little more in detail. So at every stage of life, we are checkmated in our success mantra. So many times we feel that our desires, our aspirations, they get fulfilled with the passing of the ages. But at heart, are we happy? Are we content? Are we satisfied? This is the big question. Have we achieved the satisfaction of the heart by achieving our desires and goals? Why? Because entire life we are running to pursue those desires and goals. But we do not know whether the definition of success that we have is right or wrong. And when we achieve so-called success, are we able to utilize it? Are we able to get that benefit to us and pass it on to others? So Bhagavad Gita gives us the direction that the success which comes by following Bhagavad Gita will give us the peace of mind. It will give us the values and character. And in relationships, today's new generation, the biggest challenge they have is the relationship problem. To how to maintain the selfless attitude in relationships. That this generation has no clue, because all the relationship is based on one's own selfish motive. So in such a relationship, there is bound to be separation or quarrel or conflict. So Arjuna was thinking that his success is not what this is Dhritarashtra's success of having the kingdom, having the position of prosperity, the power, the privilege. He was thinking it is useless for me. And actually what success was being aspired by Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, that also did not happen. Arjuna was thinking that if I fight and I win, I will still be defeated. Because I cannot enjoy kingdom without my relations, without my relatives. And if I fight and I lose, then I lose. So in both scenario, what he was seeing only disappointment. He was seeing dejection. So we see the two sides to success. One is the material side and the other is the spiritual side. So normally what we do, we pursue the material side. Career, position, profits. And what we do, we neglect the spiritual side. Why? So we are thinking that our success is if we can enjoy the most. And second scenario is that if we even neglect the material side, like Arjuna, he says, I don't want the kingdom. I don't want to rule. And what he will do? He will go and pursue a profession of beggar. So it is called escapism, running away from the duty. In first scenario, also not performing the duty because of overwhelming desire to enjoy. In the second scenario, not performing his duty. Why? Because there is escapism of fear. Then what is the correct balance in the success formula? Is to engage in both the duties, in our material duty and in our spiritual pursuits. So just trying to enjoy cannot make one happy. This is Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. Entire life they try to enjoy with the kingdom, with the position, with the power. But they could never enjoy. Why? Because there was always fear and anxiety in their heart. And some people want to escape. They can also not enjoy. So what we have to do is we have to engage in both. That is pursuing material duty and at the same time being spiritual person. That is the path of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yuddhacha. That you perform your duty as a warrior. So you perform your duty as a student, you study. But always keep me in focus. Keep remembering. So success is not just that we have more, but success is how we utilize more. So success is not just doing things better, but success is to do better things. So this first chapter with this character of Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra and Arjuna, it gives us the excellent guide to what is the success formula in life. Neither trying to be too much indulged in enjoyment can give us success, not trying to escape. So what we have to do, we have to have a balance of both and engage. And there we will see that Arjuna becomes completely overwhelmed with emotion and he refuses to fight, and he will give 5 reasons. First is based on compassion, that he does not want to kill. Second is based on enjoyment, that if he kills, then he cannot enjoy. Even if he gets the kingdom, with whom will he enjoy? And third, he says, is a sinful reaction. If he kills the wrongdoers, he will suffer sin. And fourth, he says that there will be degradation in this society. And finally, he says that I am confused. So actually, everyone's journey begins in the same scenario, that there is some element of confusion and there is some element of indecision. And 99.9% people ignore it. And there is only 0.1% people who explore it. So Bhagavad Gita is for those who want to explore and come out for this confusion of life and what is success formula. Okay, I will stop here. To some extent, I try to present this position of Krishna is redefining success for Arjuna and all of us through this first chapter. That neither enjoyment will lead us to success by trying to neglect the spiritual path. Or second, many times we see some sentimental people come to us and they say, Prabhuji, I want to be like you. What do you mean you want to be like me? हम सब कुछ छोड़ना चाहते हैं. Why? Because it is troublesome. So what you will do in ashram? You will create trouble for us. That is escapism. We have to engage in both. We have to perform material duty as you are all pursuing your studies very sincerely, very diligently, and also know what are the spiritual aspirations, the spiritual principles. And if you abide by both, then success is sure. Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. Victory is sure. Okay, I'll stop here. Some of you have joined. I'm very thankful, those who have joined, because this is a new journey for all of you. You have so far just been to temple few times in Tashkent, but you should know that what is the purpose for which Krishna comes is to give us this knowledge and wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. We can have some interaction. You can ask some question or doubt. All of you, yeah. Krishna, at least you have switched on your video. Thank you. Where are you from, Krishna?
Currently, I'm still in Tashkent.
Oh, yes,
And
yes,
yeah.
I remember you. Okay, now I remember
Yeah.
you. Good, good. Do you have any question?
So far, the session has been really good. And I will be regular in the session.
Okay,
That's
thank
what I
you.
can say.
Thank you. If the spirit itself is very commendable, I remember your spirit. You told me that there should be chanting in every session. Hopefully, we'll come to that stage one day. Hare Krishna. Another devotees, if you have any question, please ask. Das Raghunath Prabhu, you are our main principal coordinator. What is the next session?
Yeah, so next week we'll be conducting another meaningful session which you all can relate with your life, especially the students, जैसा प्रभु जी ने आज कंडक्ट किया. सो आज चैप्टर 1 पे बेस था टॉपिक, और प्रभु जी ने काफी अच्छे से पूरा ओवरव्यू लिया और पूरा पूरा ओवरव्यू लेके समझाया और कुछ प्रैक्टिकल लेसन्स भी रखे. तो नेक्स्ट सेशन जैसा कि आप जानते हैं पोस्टर आप सबके साथ शेयर है, तो मैं एक बार दोबारा शेयर करने का प्रयास करता हूँ. तो नेक्स्ट सेशन जो हमारा है बेसिकली गीता के चैप्टर 2 पे रहने वाला है, और उसमें हम अभी जैसे आज सर रीडिफाइनिंग सक्सेस, तो नेक्स्ट सेशन जो हमारा रहने वाला है वो गीता के चैप्टर नंबर 2 पे होगा, वो होगा रीडिस्कवरिंग आइडेंटिटी. तो हम रीडिस्कवर करें कि हम कौन हैं, उस पे नेक्स्ट सेशन नेक्स्ट वीक होगा, जो सबके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो व्हेन वी कैन रीडिस्कवर आवरसेल्व्स देन थिंग्स मेक सेंस टू अस. सो आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है, आप सभी नेक्स्ट टाइम भी पूरे उत्साह से ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. और जो आज आपके कुछ फ्रेंड्स हैं जो समहाउ फॉर वट एवर रीजंस आर नॉट एबल टू कम, you can please let them know, and they can also come join the next session.
Thank you very much. Virender ji, Hare Krishna. I see you there. Your name is there. You're hearing? Hare Krishna. Oh, good to have your darshans. Unmute करके बोलिए, unmute करिए. You are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
धन्यवाद प्रभु जी. जय हो. वीरेंद्र.
Thank you for the class. I'll try to be regular.
Okay.
Parallelly, I have started reading Bhagavad Gita.
So good. He is my good friend, my greatest support in Tashkent, Virender ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
So far, no questions, Prabhuji. Thank you. Everything was
Okay.
quite clear.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All glories to Bhagavad Gita. All glories to Srila
Yeah.
Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.